All right, Diesel Punks for the Black Hack. This is part 2, and we're going to jump right into it with the first supplement, which is going to be Aliens 2.0. So this is a longer, more fleshed out Aliens and supplement. Each Aliens is going to have a couple of pages each, roughly, and it's going to start off with the Beanpoles, which are a tall race that live on a desert planet called Sand, and they have flexible ears. Their planet used to be very fertile and farmland, but is now turned to desert. While they've taken to the stars to collect ice and metal to hopefully rebuild their planet. Some of them have some telepathy, and some of them are mystics. So that's a race. Obviously, you can mess a little bit with that. The next one is going to be I must try to say it, but it might be tough. The Git Tick. I messed it. There it went. I messed up. Git Tick Kittik, which is an avian hive mind race. I can tell that Robert likes hive minds, and has several things in his releases kind of remind me of the Borg a little bit, but these are a peaceful race, except unless you get into their territory, and then they're going to mess you up. They're fierce fighters, and they have a leadership structure in their culture. The next are the Hydroids. Hydroids are going to be a water elemental. They can control surface tension of water. They can slip through cracks, obviously in doors and stuff like that. They do not communicate, but anytime anybody uses telepathy with them, they always see like worlds covered in water. So maybe that's like the long-term goal for these guys or something like that. They can regenerate, and they obviously will stow up on other ships. They can easily stow up on, in other ships in a bucket or something like that. Almost kind of reminds me of Odo from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Yeah, there's the Hydroids. And then next is the Obsilodons, and they are a cephalopod, a octopus or squid type alien. Obviously, they're multitaskers. You got to be a multitasker when you got all those tentacles. They communicate with tentacle movements, and they're very curious about humanoids. And they have soft bodies, so they use kind of like a walker armor. The next one are the Frogs, which they come from the planet Pond. They are a large amphibian humanoid race. They have to have moisture for their skin, of course, and they can see into the ultraviolet, which that's kind of neat. They can change sexes over the course of a few months, and they are great at engineering and linguistics. So that's a neat race. Obviously, making something that kind of looks like a big amphibious thing, be smart, and be able to be really well versed in languages. Of course, I'm gonna probably butcher some of these. The Quaptos, they're slugs that have been bioengineered to absorb dead people, and then they clone their bodies, just only temporarily. The reason for doing this is apparently he says that it's been locked behind undecipherable glyphs. So there is some sort of maybe history with them, which of course you could expand on in your campaign, the setting. While they do this, they're actually harmless in their normal form, probably just like little slugs. But some of them apparently are murderous, and they take on a more evil demeanor, and they're called the Verkos. So that's a cool race there, where you could kind of play around with who is and who isn't one of these things, and then obviously trying to decipher these glyphs about their history. The next are the Sirens. Of course, they're going to be good-looking humanoids, mostly female, very charming. They can hypnotize you. They can learn languages, but they're very self-centered, and there's also a section on there on how, like, if your character is controlled by a siren, if they get taken over by them. I'm gonna try to say this one. I might butcher it. Here we go. Tenebrians. They are 4-armed humanoids. They're very poisonous due to a mutation to other creatures. And now this is, I think, a very neat alien that he came out with. It's helped them with their survival over the years, which that's helpful, of course, being able to be very toxic to everyone. But sometimes they work with humanoids, but the humans need to wear protective gear around them because they're just so toxic. So that's kind of neat, having that kind of built-in defense mechanism. The next ones are the Vin Goons. They are an old, ancient race. They are all mystics. They control the masses with their voices, so they're very charismatic alien. And even though robots and AI are immune, they are able to obviously change the demeanor and the kind of the mob mentality to kind of take over or to have power. And we have the voles. They are pretty much like Morlocks. They have pale skin. They live underneath the ground. They have large black eyes. And one thing that's going to need is they can wait for hours for, obviously, to attack their prey. And they're going to attack with sharp claws. They're very good at being spies, of course, since they can sit still. And they're very prone to pranks. So, I don't know. I guess they like to prank people. So, this supplement doesn't have any art again. Again, this is just a little independent release here for just a couple of bucks. But Robert's done a good job at expanding more of the aliens, giving you more for your buck, with a deeper background, deeper explanation of who they are. And these might be, maybe bigger players if you use these aliens in your Diesel Punk setting. So that's Aliens 2.0. It's one of his better supplements, I think, and it's got some neat aliens in there that you can throw into your game. So the next is called Patrol Posted. Now this, I'm gonna go ahead and say, is definitely his best supplement that I've looked at. The Patrol, which he's helped me kind of explain a little bit more about what they're about. They're kind of like cops, like space cops almost. They often get into situations where they're up against, something that's pretty nasty. They're not stupid, but they're not, like I said, these are not like the super high thinking. These are not superheroes in any stretch of the imagination. Like I said in the other video, these are kind of your blue collar guys. They're stretched in terms of men, spaceship, equipment, and sometimes maybe their help could be like days or weeks away. So, they kind of really struggle and they really try their best, but they're limited by a lot of factors. They are funded by kind of Earth's allies, contributing whatever they can to help them manage with special equipment or specialists. They're not like a conquering force. They mostly deal with like pirates and smugglers, criminals, but they wouldn't be able to, stand up against a big fleet or something like that of spaceships. They do like search and rescue. They explore strange phenomena. Obviously again, smuggling, stuff like that they're going to try to stop. And they coordinate with other worlds and law enforcement. So that's what the Patrol is. So what is Patrol Posted? Well, Patrol Posted is where obviously Robert has taken his imagination and really looked at some of the aliens and stuff like that and really gone to that extra level. It's 25 pages. And there are 4 pieces of art in it. So he does have some art in it. And they are, in essence, the Patrol's most wanted, is the way that I see it. It's got good ideas. It's got a lot of good ideas if you want to use them in adventures for adventure hooks. There's a lot of history and a much deeper explanation of who these people are. So these are very dangerous entities that the Patrol, once they are posted, they are, in essence, sought after for the Patrol. But, of course, they're going to be very dangerous, so you can't just haphazardly try to take them on. So it's got a good list of these kind of like pretty much villain NPCs, if you wish. But that description is a little bit weird because some of the stuff is going to be strange. And it's not going to be just aliens or people or something, but you'll see as I discuss them here. The first one is called hopefully again, the Gnolt, which is a enormous, or just the Gnolt, I'm not sure, is a huge cyborg of like advanced technology. And it kidnaps people, and then, so it kidnaps people, they're gone, but then all of a sudden it releases them, and they have new cybernetic parts. Maybe they've got, an eye or an arm or a limb or something like that has changed, is now a cybernetic limb, but it's it could be of a more advanced technology. So very strange. It's kind of like an odd thing that's just kind of out there that nobody knows exactly who made it, why it's doing it. So it's almost kind of like questionable Borg, but not exactly bad. It's not murdering and killing people, so that's kind of neat. The next one is Dr. Marston, the Fluidic Man. And one thing I really like about what Robert has done is he's taken kind of like the pulp names of the Fluidic Man, and some others that I'll talk to you about. It's like the something, it reminds me of like the Shadow or the Phantom, of that kind of pulp names that he's put in there. And I think that's really neat, kind of like the Invisible Man. So the Fluidic Man is a xenobiologist. He discovers a process to reduce all life to liquid form. And this is going to be a neat story because it's kind of like that same thing where, funding and clashes with other academic types have made him pretty much go crazy. Of course, he used the process on himself like they always do. And that leads for a good murderous villain who is now a criminal, a mastermind type criminal who goes around as the Fluidic Man. So a very cool villain to throw against your party there. The next is the Blue Venus Rocket Squad, and here is a picture of her and her little crew, a little bit of the art from the book. And this is going to be a hired mercenaries, robbers. They're going to do raids and abductions, and maybe even some eliminations. They use rocket. She was an old rocket trooper, and they obviously use jetpacks, and they dress all in black. And there's the art. So that's a cool kind of group of enemies that you can have a lot of grunts and stuff like that, fighting, taking on stuff, almost kind of like old, train robbers, bandits, and stuff like that in space. Now the next one is it's called Charen, and this is a neat one. This is one of his best ones. It's pretty much like an Event Horizon ship that's out there in space. It's a type of transport, and it obliterates its crew every time it gets a crew through various different means, and he has them all statted up how the crew can be killed. Through maybe life support systems, or thrown out of bays and all sorts of stuff like that, where this ship will kill them. So it's just out there in space, going around, and it's just at large, messing around with anybody that tries to come onto it. So I think it's a neat addition to the setting, and probably one of the better ones that's on there. And it's only superseded by the next one, which is I believe it's called the Nemesis. And it is a huge asteroid. So whenever a ship lands on this asteroid and they investigate it, they may find some other crashed ships. Well, when they explore the inside of the asteroid, they find that it has a huge jungle biome inside, and there are like atomic sun-powered lamps, and they have like a huge jungle inside this asteroid. But also inside it are kind of savage or primitive type people that use maybe spears and bows, and they are not happy that you have shown up on their asteroid. So they will probably try to kill you. That's detrimental. But some of their people may also have some of the technology from some of the other ships that they've scavenged. So this is one of the more unique entries. It's probably one of the best, and it's just neat to think about that this is what the patrol are looking for, an asteroid with these savages inside it. I think that's pretty smart, and it almost kind of gives me an idea of like something that would be found in Star Trek or something like that, especially the original series. So and I'm not sure if this is all of them. I'm just kind of hitting some of the main ones that I really enjoyed. The next one is the Super Scale One Eye. So I talked about the scales before, pretty much the skeleton type aliens where they have the fungus that's taken them over. Well, this is a special one. This is a boss, if you wish, called One Eye. He's a cybernetic scale, and he retains his human intelligence, while the other ones are kind of droned and just kind of grunts. One Eye can actually mentally control dozens of, and command dozens of scales. So very cool, kind of boss of the scales that you could throw in there. And he does have a little bit of art that he's put in there, and you can see the hand of One Eye kind of attacking these two pulp adventurers, if you wish. And I think it's a great entry, and it's it's obviously a boss monster for those scales, and you can do a lot with him. And the last is going to be Strain Z Prime. It's pretty much a virus, and again, Patrol Post is not just aliens and villains and stuff like that, but strange things for them to look out for. And it pretty much turns people into a hive mind. So there's Robert's enjoyment of hive minds again. It messes with their minds and makes them forget about like kind of ordinary objects and stuff like that. So it's not extremely detrimental, but they have to remember basic things about life. And for stats wise, they all share the same pool of hit points. They're all mentally linked. So obviously this strain of strange viruses going around and causing a ruckus. So overall, like I said, this is a great supplement that he's done for his diesel punk setting. And I would say that Aliens 2.0 and the Patrol Posted are two of the best of his supplements. It shows obviously where his imagination is kind of run free, and he's able to kind of create and put aliens maybe in there that he would like, but kind of change them up a little bit, especially with the Patrol Posted. Villains are always good, and I think he should also put out another supplement of NPCs that are good, the good guys on the patrol. Maybe there's some dudes, some real tough men and women of the patrol that you can use as mentors or part of the crew, with each of their different backgrounds. Maybe some of them are cyborgs or something like that. And I think that would be pretty cool. And to go along with this whole patrol posted, and in my opinion, he could do several of these patrol posted just to create unique bad guys for your group if they're playing diesel punks. Or you could use these obviously any other type of maybe space setting. So there it is. Those are the two last remaining diesel punks supplements, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, I wish I knew more about the Black Hack 2nd edition. And this makes sure I can see from the stats it's very lean. I know I've looked into it before. Not much numbers and stuff to keep up with, and that's obviously its selling point. So check out Aliens 2.0 and Patrol Posted if you've enjoyed these two videos here on Diesel Punks. And thanks for watching, and I hope to have another video to you very soon. Thanks.